right here on Antiga Shipyard, TSL.HyuN, our reigning champion on IPL Fight Club. He's the red Zerg up here in the top right, and he's facing off against FXO.Tear, the blue Protoss down in the bottom left. FXO.Tear already taking a couple of games here, making HyuN sweat perhaps a little bit.
Yeah, and HyuN, we've seen that he has great resilience against Protoss players. He's largely able to overwhelm them. I've always likened him to a more advanced July Zerg, someone who kind of knew when to kind of hit the kill switch off of 3 or 4 bases and just go, 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 go and overwhelm your opponent. But he's not been able to pull that off. Tear's kind of done a good job of setting the pace of the game, and I think that's kind of HyuN's kryptonite. When he can't dictate the pace of aggression, the pace of the game, he kind of falls behind.
That's right. He's shown that already in this series, but let's see. I mean, he's got to have some faster builds, I think. Obviously, Roach Hydra Corruptor is not working to his best results here, so I'm wondering if he might just do a 2-base play this time instead of trying to go all the way for 3 and letting it play out the same way, kind of like it did the last couple of games.
All right, well, Forge coming up at the front. And I like that Tear's being very cautious with his Forge. Came down on 14, I believe. No, 13, actually. So nice and early. Wants to make sure, because of how wide the ramp is here and how far this is away from your Nexus, to just go ahead and wall that in right away. You'll see some Protoss players, of course, that'll drop down a pylon here, something like that, and make a nice little wall directly from the ramp over to their natural. But that allows all of this as a staging room for Zerg players in the mid game.
That's right. Spawning pool is coming up now for Mr. HyuN, and he is getting started on his natural hatchery. Probe is going to see everything and be a little bit disappointed that he didn't stop it from happening, but... yeah,
dejected even.
That's all right. So he's just going to mopily mope all the way.
Mopily mope.
He's going to mopily mope all the way back into the base, just checking things out, looking for extractors or anything like that. Nothing surprising for Mr. Probe. He's going to have to return home with terrible news, though. He did not stop the hatchery from going down.
That's right.
Or maybe he'll just wait and die out here so that no one ever knows his failure.
He could take out his aggression on Automaton, possibly.
No.
So, but wow, strong reaction there. Yeah. Automaton, save him.
Automaton 2000 was the first member of my clan back in the beta.
Oh, nice.
It was all robotic animals. So it was actually just Automaton 2000 and Robo Ferret. Robo Ferret, for people who don't know, was one of the first people I ever saw in the beta take advantage of the Void Rays being able to shoot their own units to keep the charge up. He was actually one of the first players I saw abuse that, and you know, shooting off of destructible rocks, shooting off of each other as they enter a base. I saw him kill LZ Gamer something like 35 Marines with 4 Void Rays, because Void Rays have taken a lot of nerfs actually since the beta. They used to actually just be insanely strong, especially if you could keep charge up on 4 at a time. So there's a game on my YouTube where LZ Gamer is just like, really? Like, what was I supposed to do against that? But that was back when LZ Gamer was Terran even, so he's been Zerg for over a year now.
Yeah. I remember, what was I playing? Marine Arena with Quai Rice or something like that, and the unit I ended up making was all Void Rays, and he was like, hey, wait a second, this isn't StarCraft multiplayer, you can't do that. So anyway, so let's see here. HyuN on his pretty predictable 3 bases. Everything's looking pretty normal for him. He hasn't really deviated from his strategy. In fact, he's had to be very reactive to what Tear has been doing. Tear has been going for that Stargate play pretty much every time. And once again, we see he's delaying his +1 weapons, and it tells me he's going to put some sort of tech up, but what is that tech going to be? We'll find out here in a bit. I would not be surprised at all to see yet another Stargate.
Stargate, I mean, it's obviously worked out for him in the past. This map, like you said, Roach aggression is usually favored by Zerg opponents, so probably I want to assume Immortals, but he's had such pretty good, you know, success with the Stargate so far. Either one is really an open option at this point.
This is actually not a bad map for a quick blink as well. So
that's true, and there's lots of territory, lots of cliffs and ledges that you can blink all around. He's making stalkers manually now, not warping them in. He's actually building them in the gateway, I suppose. I'm not really sure how all that works, but he's taking a 3rd base. At this 3rd, he's got pylon up as well, so he can do some spotting on the destructible debris in case HyuN shows up. But HyuN actually hasn't built any fighting units, really. a couple of lings. Nothing crazy so far. Here's a Roach Warren finally being planted.
Yeah, and that's what on, 45 drones, so it's about the right time. And he's going to make sure that he can be, actually he's going to be forced into producing a few lings here as there's a potential for a queen to go down. No, looks like TYR just trying to take out a couple of drones in the meantime. Does manage to get 2 or 3 of them, so doing a very nice job where he hits each of the drones as well with the Stalker, so we can still just 2-shot them with the Zealot. So for the cost of that Stalker and Zealot, manages to kill 5 workers. Pretty good stuff.
Really, that's a nice little economic hit there. Obviously, it's going to coax some lings out of HyuN as it did, and they are going to need, they're going to need to do something. Oh, wow, doing a full wall actually behind the destructible debris while it's still standing. So that's a nice move, nice touch there from TYR, but HyuN obviously could just send in an Overlord and spot all that and try to work against it. But Evolution Chamber coming up for HyuN, he might want to start building spores because he doesn't know what's coming just yet. This is a lot of gateways, though. Has he even built a Robo yet?
He has
not.
Nope, I'm totally wrong. There it is.
Yeah,
okay. I thought he had put it up by now, but no, I was incorrect.
He just planted a bunch of gateways, and he'll be able to basically make a lot of fighting units, Zealots and Stalkers, and support with Immortals probably. But the Roach Warren's been done a little while now, and I haven't seen him actually make any roaches yet.
No, not yet. He's just investing in his upgrades. He's up to 66 drones now, and that's about the point when you want to start flipping on kind of the kill switch if you're going to go for aggressive roaches. And we do have a 4th base coming out now, so we may actually have an infestation pit in a little bit longer game here in just a second.
All right, so roach speed has started. Ventral Sack started as well. The main, because his natural and third are so well fortified, he knows that the main is going to be a little bit more empty, and that can actually be a nice attacking point. He can load up sort of out of vision there and then just drop everything into the main, take out the economy. Normally when you do a big drop as a Zerg, you don't really have an exit strategy, so he's going to want tons and tons of units turned out still before he considers dropping.
Not the best force fields there for TYR. He traps 5 or 6 Zerglings, but he obviously wanted a lot more than that. But it is largely going to be a speedling drop. Okay, there we go. Actually, 11 roaches are now on the way, so we will be able to drop those in as well, make this a little bit stronger army when he goes to attack. And there, our chosen overlords for dropping here starting to make their way out.
All right, observers are on the field now for TYR, so if he actually follows around this lean force, he will be privy to any drop staging grounds or anything like that. So as long as he's active with that observer, this should not come as a huge surprise. Hallucination being researched right now, 10.5 minutes into the game. That's kind of interesting. Not sure exactly what he wants to do that. Maybe fake Phoenixes to do some scouting, because he hasn't had any real Phoenixes yet this game. And so he knows that this wall off is basically already started. He's going to break down the destructible debris anyway and force TYR to actually make a decision. Does he want to defend from behind or come around from the side and try to do some trapping?
And HyuN is able to, or not quite able to take out the destructible debris. TYR does hang on to that for the time being. This is a lot of roaches being constructed, and Ventral Sacks did just finish up. So it's a quite formidable force, but of course TYR getting everything in place that he needs for an anti-roachling attack.
That's right, Blink. Still, I really want to see how the hallucination is used. If he hallucinates some Colossi, I think that would be just terrific.
Oh, Pneumatized. I was wondering where Pneumatized Carapace was, and it's quite delayed, actually, so the Overlords aren't going to be there for quite a while, and by the time that they actually make their way out, TYR could very well have Blink done, which will make this defense quite a bit better.
All right, and obviously Blink is very useful for a number of reasons, but there is that fake Phoenix just to get some information from his opponent. He hasn't built any real air units, obviously, yet in this game. No Stargate anywhere for him. A couple of Immortals, Zealots. Oh, here we go, forcing a fight. A couple of force fields go down. He does trap some Lings and Roaches, at least one Roach, so that's not too terrible of a trade-off there. And the Zealot will actually escape while the force fields are still up, so nice little pick-off from there. 50 supply difference still, though. HyuN is way ahead on supply, and that's a lot of roaches and lings. If he manages to load these all up quickly enough and get that drop going, TYR is not inside of his main yet. He's already trying to get back, but there's such a narrow entrance. The Immortals and Stalkers can't even get through, so a lot of pylons at least are going to be taking out probably a lot of those probes. He is going to not pull them yet, actually. It looks like he's going to go to try to unpower everything and attack here at the natural/third, trying to get some damage done. So TYR, his force is a little bit too small to be split like this.
It is. but it looks like he's able to deal with a good portion of the forces that are inside of the main right now, but it's really this force over at the third that's going to be cause for concern. The photon cannon finally goes down, and TSL has to ship back a few forces. There's the brunt of his army, and those Immortals that are sitting off to the side, but they're not there quite yet.
The Immortals shuffled back to try to defend the main, and then when the third attack came in, the Immortals were just sitting there. Not enough use out of those guys, and now the main is full of Zerg forces. The Natural is getting destroyed as well, and this looks pretty grim for FXO.Tear.
Okay, well, he's trying to hold on with whatever he can at the moment. He still does have 3 Immortals. He will be able to repel this force, but it's a question of can he recover from the damage that's already been taken. As we can see, Speedlings are starting to stream back over into the in the third once again, and you know, I said it before. Oh well, actually, that's just GG, and TSL's going to be out of the game. So HyuN